Hello, this is your captain speaking. Welcome back to. No, actually, not welcome back to me doing Earthbound games, but welcome to Mother Invasion from the other. Ah, Invasion from the Unknown, which is I think you could probably say visual novel remake of an old Mother game book, which I think the game books are essentially a choose your own adventure style book, except a bit more complicated, and I think actually a bit wordier too. Because I played a bit of it, and there's a lot of text, and I'm not used to, it's been a while since I've played a choose your own adventure book, but it's pretty text heavy. But anyways, I'll read the trivia question and then we're going to get going. In the 1980s, a certain haunted arcade game was causing a fever around the world. A major comic book company caught this fever, planning a crossover between one of their superpowered heroes and the game's protagonist. However, plans fell plans for this fell through, with a handful of rough draft pages being all that remains. Name the two properties this would have or that would have been used in this scrapped project. Okay, now there we go. Let's see. Apparently, this is still incomplete. I thought it was, but oh, I can actually click on stuff. Okay. Excuse me. Excerpts from the. Oh, I see you there. Nope, it's not Polybetus. Did I pronounce that right? Note I have haunted in quotes. Excerpts from Press Herald, found on microfilm in the Portland Public Library. August 6th, 1902. Bizarre black crowds. Bizarre black clouds over high peaks of Maine. Residents of Podunk and Marysville have become aware of black clouds covering the summit of Mount Itoy, a mountain that can be found halfway between the two small towns located along the Central Maine Railway. It has been reported that these black clouds are known to emit strange flashes of light every now and then. August 12th, 1902, a couple goes missing on Interstate Highway. At around 8 p.m. on August 11th, a married couple went missing while traveling along the Interstate Highway, which leads from Portland through Bangor and ends at the Canadian border. George Holloway, 35, and his wife Maria, 29, had set out from the town of Marysville and were heading to their home in Podunk. Yeah, I know. I know there's a few indie type games that have remade Polybius. Actually, that was my first April Fool's stream. Was doing a couple of them. I think they kind of think people were misremembering. I can't remember what the name of the game was. But yeah, they were misremembering another arcade game. It was this weird vector game that had FMV backgrounds. Anyways, Padunk Sheriff Arthur Grail, 46, who knows the couple well, has stated that he does not believe the pair would have any reason to disappear voluntarily. Because their disappearance occurred on the same day that the previous recorded black clouds happened to vanish from above Mount Itoy, rumors began to spread among the locals that the two events were connected in some way. However, the local police have disputed this claim as having no basis in scientific fact. The site where the couple appears to have gone missing is about 20 miles from town. A lonely, desolate stretch of land at the foot of Mount Itoy, surrounded by open fields and forests. The Ford Model T the couple had been driving was discovered among the nearby trees. September 12, 1902, search for the missing couple finally comes to an end. The Portland Police Department and the Padunk Sheriff's Office have called an end to the search for the Holloways, a married couple who suddenly went missing along the interstate highway on August 11th. The couple's disappearance has been shrouded in mystery, and not one substantial clue has ever been found. The couple has 3 sons, and the Portland Family Court, as well as their appointed attorney, are currently tasked with finding suitable guardians for the boys. Okay, October 30th, 1904. Missing Mr. Holloway found. In the early hours of October 29th, a lone man was found collapsed along the shore of Ely. I think it's supposed to be LA, actually. By Judd Clayton, 47, a manager of a transport company who happened to be passing by and promptly alerted the LA Police Department. After some investigation, it was determined that the collapsed man was George Holloway, aged 35 when last seen, who had gone missing along a highway near Padunk, Maine, 2 years prior. Mr. Holloway is currently being treated at the State Hospital in Youngtown. Although Mr. Holloway has regained consciousness, he claims to have no memory of the 2 years during which he was missing, and has stated that he has no knowledge of the whereabouts of his wife Maria, aged 29 when last seen, who had disappeared along with him. August 14th, 1988. Doug, are you awake? I could hear my mom's voice coming from downstairs. Of course I was awake. For the past several days, I had been dragged out of dreamland at the break of dawn by the roar of military helicopters as they weaved through the sky above town. I got out of bed and went over to the window, and as I opened the curtain, I could see a Bell UH-1 helicopter flying by overhead. Its rotors chopped through the air as it skimmed the highest branches of the cedar trees growing along Gardena, the road that runs straight through the heart of town. I looked down at the street and saw a police car with flashing blue lights was parked in front of Mr. Bailey's house next door. Then an ambulance arrived. There were several police officers and men in business suits standing in front of Mr. Bailey's house, talking with one another. They used complicated words like martial law. Lately, there were strange things being reported on the news every single day. Murders, disappearances, sometimes things even stranger than that, happening all over the place. Hopefully the music's not too loud. Everyone locked their houses up tight. No one was allowed to go out after dark. And if you happened to see a suspicious person or something that didn't seem quite right, you were supposed to report it to the police immediately. It really seemed like something very serious was going on. Sure, I was glad I didn't have to go to school and all, but clearly this this was the biggest thing that had ever happened in the United States. No, in the entire world. I got a call from my good friend Jim McCann, and he told me apparently Mr. Crockett, the shoemaker, was fishing in the Royal River when he saw his nephew Harold wandering aimlessly on the opposite shore. But the thing about Harold was, well, about a year ago, he'd been hit and killed by an express train running along the nearby Paradise Line. And yet, there he was, staggering along the water's edge like a marionette with a broken string, staring blankly off into the distance. Jim also happens to like horror movies, so he excitedly added, "It's like a George A. Romero's Night of the Living Dead." 3 days later, Mitch Holland, vice principal of Podunk High School, was killed right in the middle of Harley Street. Mr. Holland's body was torn to shreds as if by a creature with very sharp claws, and on top of that, something like wild animal hair was scattered on the ground all around his corpse. I wonder what Jim will say once he finds out about that. Would he say that the culprit was clearly a werewolf or something? Sheesh. Around the same time, weird black clouds rolled in and covered the summit of Mount Etoy, which can be seen from here in town. If I remember right, the newspapers reported that scientists and a military research team went up to the mountain after that, but they never came back down. Doug, are you up yet? Yeah. I went downstairs, still wearing my pajamas. My mama, Carol, and my two sisters, Minnie and Mimi, were in the kitchen, and next to where I usually sit, there was one other chair. My mama always avoided looking at it, but that was my papa's chair. I walked behind his chair and sat down in my own, and I began to eat my breakfast. Half a year ago, my papa went missing. He went to work one day and then just never came back. Mama begged the police to search for him, hired a private investigator, and did absolutely everything she could. But in the end, no one had any clue where he could have gone. Since then, my mama threw out everything that had belonged to my papa, even photos of him that she had held so dear. But I still believe in my papa. I know he's going to come back someday. There must have been some very important reason why he hasn't been able to come home yet. Doug! I was brought back to my senses. Huh? What is it? Mama's eyes seemed so sad as she looked at me, but then she seemed to pull herself together and spoke with a warm smile. Once you're done with breakfast, you should get right to studying. Mr. Donovan gave you a whole lot of homework, didn't he? But I didn't bother with the massive pile of really annoying homework that bald old Mr. Donovan had given out, and instead sneaked off to the attic as usual. Mama tells me not to come up here because it's too dusty, but adults never seem to realize that saying things like that only makes the minds of the curious 12-year-old boys like me even more curious. I've had asthma since I was very little, so places full of dust are no good for me. But going up into the attic is kind of like a mini adventure for any kid, don't you think? Yeah, this is the third quote-unquote canon name for Earthbound Beginnings protagonist. The canon one is Ninten, but the novel names him Ken. And then this version is Doug Holloway. This is the older one that actually gives him a surname. The stairs cracked as I climbed them, and a damp mustiness and the smell of mold were heavy in the air. All things up here looked like precious treasures to me. There were so many things from a time long forgotten, and that forgotten by time, way before I'd ever been born. An old grandfather clock, an Underwood typewriter covered in so much dust I couldn't even make out the letters on the keys. A little girl's doll, sitting and staring blankly at the cobwebs across the ceiling. Piles of books heaped against the wall. A Springfield rifle with a rusted barrel. With my inhaler in my pocket, just in case of an asthma attack, I began to explore items around me, like a deep sea diver searching through murky water for gold on the wreckage of an old sunken ship. Then suddenly, a book landed at my feet with a thud. I picked it up to see what it was, and the cover, which was rough and rugged as a tombstone, had the word diary written across it. And the owner's name was apparently George Martin Holloway. Holloway. That was my last name too. But who the heck was he? My curiosity got the better of me, as usual, and I blew the dust off the diary and slowly turned the pages. The diary was really, really old. I flipped to the last page, which was dated December 1st, 1912. I found myself fascinated by the writing scrawled in blue fountain pen ink. This diary ends here, for there's no longer a need for me to keep writing one. This is an account of the final few years of my life, and although what I've written here has great significance to me personally, it will have no meaning to others. Well, I suppose that's true of typical diaries. However, I dare not call what I am about to write a typical diary. It is meant to reach one particular boy in the very distant future, and so, yes, I'd call it something more like a letter. The boy's name is Douglas Holloway. I was stunned. There was my name, written in a diary that was so many decades old. Oh, over half a century, actually. I figured it was probably just a coincidence, but suddenly I felt as though someone was watching me, and I couldn't help but look around, but it couldn't be a coincidence. This diary belonged to my great-grandpa, George Holloway, and he seemed to know, even so many decades ago, that I'd be reading it today, at this very moment. I am now 45 years old. I am bedridden, and death will come for me very soon. And that is because I finally came back from a very long journey. But Douglas, perhaps you prefer to be called Doug. You are 12 years old now, and I'm guessing you're a lively and very spirited boy. And starting this very moment, you'll be on your own very long journey, although yours will be different from mine. Lately, strange things have been happening all around you, and your mother and your sisters are probably quite frightened. But you mustn't be afraid. And even when you are afraid, you mustn't show it, otherwise they will surely take advantage of your fear. The purpose of your journey will be to find a lost song. In your time, I have a feeling that there will be devices that can be used to preserve music. But there is nothing like that here in my time. And so, I have found various other ways to allow the song to be remembered. As for how important this song is, I'll write down I will write about that later. But know that it is a very special song. It is the only thing that can save the country you live in, no, the entire planet Earth, from a calamity that will soon threaten to destroy it. You have special powers yourself. You're probably already aware of some of them, but your powers go beyond what you know. There is a greater power hidden dormant within your heart. sudden roar of a helicopter overhead startled me, and I dropped a diary. But it was true. I had strange powers since way back. If I stared at a pencil lying on my desk long enough, I could make it do all kinds of funny dances. What's more, me and my dog Mick could communicate with each other by speaking with our minds. I always figured it was stuff called ESP or telepathy or whatever, but you must embark on a journey, and you will use these powers to fight your enemies. It pains me to know that you, a precious great-grandson, must undertake such a task. But the only thing that can defeat them, Doug, is the power that you possess. What the heck why'd I say it that way? And you will have many allies to support you along the way. First, of course, there is your father, Jack Holloway. No matter where Jack has gone, you must trust your father. It was for your own sake that he has gone into hiding. He is lying low somewhere out there in order to protect you from them. However, you'll be able to speak with Jack anytime. Whenever you wish to speak with your father, you can pick up a phone anywhere in town. Anytime you do, I'm sure your father will find a way to speak with you. You will also meet two friends during your journeys. They are children from other families in my bloodline. As such, they may have powers similar to your own, or perhaps even stronger. You must work together with them too. The diary ended there. Well, to be more accurate, the rest of the page was torn off. Still in a daze, I dropped the diary to the floor. The first thing I was surprised to hear about was my papa. If all this was true, I wanted to find him as soon as possible. But after leaving us behind, where did he go? Wiping away tears, I looked back at the torn page again, and I heard my mama's screams coming from downstairs. The screams had come from the living room. My living room was pretty wide, and had a fireplace and a couch. And there, right in the middle of it, were my mom and my sisters, holding each other tight and shivering fearfully. And some strangely shaped thing was dashing around around them. It was an electric lamp. In fact, it was a lamp given to my mama and papa as a wedding present by my Uncle Owen. I just thought, what's her name? Uncle Owen, Aunt Maru, Uncle Owen, who lived in Boston. Oh, it's not different. Different Owen. It had a large cylindrical shade, and it was made in Japan. And right now, it was hopping around the room, thrusting the shade out in front of itself and whirling it menacingly. Poltergeist activity. That's what it is called when invisible ghosts are able to cause physical phenomena. My good friend Jim, the excitable horror fanatic, had told me all about it some time ago. But now it was really happening, in my own home, no less. I didn't have time to stand there in stunned disbelief. As if it had a mind of its own, the lamp from my Uncle Owen spun around and came right for me. More out of instinct than surprise or fears, I aimed my thoughts directly at the lamp. As soon as I did, the lamp froze in midair, and then, like an explosion, burst into a fine powder. Was that my power? Oh, Doug! Mama and my little sisters rushed over. I wanted to comfort them, but I didn't have time for that now. I was going to have to tell my mom and my sisters about the journey I was about to go on. And so, I had to get a few things ready for my journey. First, there was my knife, which I could use as a weapon. It was a Gerber knife given to me by my dad for my birthday a long time ago. It had my initials, DH, engraved into the blade. In my backpack, there were sandwiches my mom made in case I got hungry, rain gear, and extra pairs of underwear. I also had $20 in cash. And then, whoops, can't forget that. My Primatine inhaler in case of an asthma attack. It's a device that sprays a mist into my mouth that can keep a fit of asthma under control. I opened the front door, went down the steps, and as I stood there on my lawn, my mama ran up and hugged me as tight as she could. "Oh, Doug, do you really have to go?" "Yeah, but I'll be okay. I promise. I'll be home soon." Then, after waving goodbye to my sisters and to my dog Mick as he stood in the front of his doghouse and wagged his tail, I headed out. The town of Podunk was a lot quieter than I expected. Across the street, I didn't see any patrol cars parked outside of Mr. Bailey's house anymore, and there was no sign of police who had been standing around there either. As I made my way down Gardena Street, I came to a small park filled with black locust trees and a road split in two ways. One path led north towards the suburbs. In other words, it led away from the neighborhood I live in. The other path led south towards the center of town. Okay, I have two choices. I am going to save, because I did play this a bit yesterday, and I died. And since I didn't save, I had to start the whole thing over again. So... okay. Only 5 melodies. Let's head north. I chose my path, and gradually the cozy homes became fewer and fewer, and they were replaced by warehouses, garages, and dilapidated buildings. There were rarely too many people out and about in this neighborhood, and on a regular day, even on a regular day. This area was known as Skid Row, and was a place where drifters and hoodlums roamed the streets. Then suddenly, a figure appeared before me, stumbling unsteadily as it went. He was definitely human, and pretty young too, at about 20 years old, but once I got a good look at him, I could see that his clothes were ragged and torn, and his face was covered in mud. His Levi jeans were ripped to shreds below the knees, and the tattered edges hung down like seaweed over his legs as he staggered towards me. As soon as the guy saw me, he suddenly raised both his arms and came at me, growling with his eyes open wide. How should I protect myself? See items? I braced myself for a fight. I took the Gerber knife from my belt and held it at the ready in my right hand. Yeah! With an eerie moan, the guy lunged at me. However, I wasn't quite a master of using a knife like any of the Jets in West Side Story were. The man quickly knocked the knife out of my hands and with a tremendous amount of strength began to strangle me. You lost 2 hit points. You now have 3 hit points. In acts of desperation, I kicked the guy in the crotch as hard as I could, and he let go of me and took a few shaky steps back. This was my chance. I had to try to run. I started to run as fast as I could. That guy was acting like a zombie, so of course he wouldn't be able to keep up with me if I ran. After I got away safely, I hid behind a warehouse and clutched my heaving chest. I continued to walk a short while. Eventually I came to the heart of Podunk. There were several houses here, and many of the town's residents were out and about. Thankfully, there was a shopping center nearby too. A short distance away, there was also a particularly dangerous part of Podunk known as Skid Row. Yeah, we've been there. Well, two people I happen to know who live in this part of town are Annette Cartwright, a girl in my class at Pedunk Junior High who lives on Oak Street, and Matthew, a man who works at the tackle and bait shop that lives pretty close by. Wonder if they know anything about what's going on lately. I rang the doorbell at Annette's house, and she answered the door with a surprised look on her face. Doug, what are you doing here? Well, I guess I... Suddenly, I felt a bit flustered. Aren't you afraid you'll get caught by the police wandering around town like this? Dead people are coming back to life and walking around. Zoo animals have gone berserk, and all kinds of strange things keep happening that no one can make sense of. I mean, I'm happy that school's closed and all, but... Chatty Annie. It was only then I remembered the girl's nickname, because if you let her, she'll talk your ear off for the rest of eternity. But they say the Paradise Line isn't running at all, which kind of is surprising, don't you think? I heard that the railway bridge up north collapsed, and there was a landslide that blocked the tracks south of Marysville. She was still talking as I excused myself and quickly left Annette's house behind. Go to the shopping center. In the northern part of town, there was a very prominent shopping center called Franklin Gibson's. As soon as I got there, I went through the front entrance. National Western Bank was on the first floor, and on the second floor and higher were huge shopping areas. My mom and my sister came here often to buy things. Let's go to the... There was a payphone on the side of the bank entrance. I picked up the receiver and projected my thoughts as hard as I could. Come on, Papa, pick up the phone. Then, at last I heard his familiar voice. Well, if it isn't my Doug boy, how have you been? Papa! I almost burst into tears. Yeah, I haven't talked to him in how long, and the first thing I ask is for money. Speak with your father. I couldn't help but ask. Papa, where are you? I'm right by your side, Doug. I'm always watching over you. That sounds... ominous. Well, come out then. Show yourself. Well, that's Doug's voice, not Papa. My Papa was quiet for a moment, then he spoke again. I'll see you someday soon, but for now, you'll have to fight without your Papa's help. I know it's tough, but the future of this world is depending on you. And with that, the phone line went dead. I stood there for a short while, still holding the receiver in my hand. I went up to the second level of the shopping center and found a familiar and way too spacious sales floor offering various daily necessities. First, I thought I should look at things that might come in handy the most. I only have $20. Ooh, I need the canary chick. You bought the canary chick for $4. Let's go back to the bank. Doug, my boy, you've been working hard out there. You need money, don't you? My Papa's voice was kind of gentle as ever. Yeah. Well then, I'll deposit as much money into your account as you've earned by fighting and growing stronger. Just thank you, $0. 16. I couldn't help but ask. Papa, where are you? Okay. So I could have asked for money and it still would have given me this. I want the baseball bat. I left Franklin Gibson's shopping center and started walking around Padunk again. Okay. I met Matthew, the owner of Matthew's Fisherman's Supply, out in front of the shop's sign. He was pacing aimlessly near the entrance with a very troubled look on his face. What's wrong? Matthew seemed to notice me for the first time since I got there. Is it that Doug? Well, the truth is, a little while ago, the mayor's daughter, little Pippi, apparently went missing in the graveyard. With the world as crazy as it's been lately, I get so worried when I think about what may happen to her. So worried. Is that so? I arrived at the intersection in the southern part of Padunk, where the Interstate Highway Route 95 passed through town. Across the road at the top of the hill covered in overgrown timothy grass, I could see a small bird sanctuary that everyone around here called Canary Village. The actual name of this place is New Hampshire Canary Center, and the reason it was called the New Hampshire Canary Center, even though it's in Maine, is because the owner, Mr. Winston, is from across the state lines. There was also a graveyard nearby called Morningside Cemetery, where I used to go with my good friend Jim and a bunch of other kids to test their courage. Go to Canary Village first. I went through the gate that had a sign which read, New Hampshire Canary Center. The stretch of land beyond was surprisingly large. They didn't call it Canary Village for nothing. Inside several large enclosures covered in fine wire mesh, the small yellow birds were chirping away. Suddenly, from the shadow of a cedar tree across the path, an old man in overalls began to approach me. I was startled at first, but he seemed to be a living human this time. When he got close enough, I recognized him. It was Mr. Winston, the owner. Little boy, my Laura is so very sad. Do you happen to know anything about her chick? Laura? Oh, I see. Maybe that was the name of one of the canaries. Could it possibly be? I showed the old man the canary chick I bought at the shopping center. The old man took the chick from me gently and... Oh yes, this is the one. Follow me, please. He led me to one of the enclosures. Inside of it was one very beautiful canary. There was a nameplate attached to the wire mesh which read, Laura. Here you are, Laura. The moment he placed the little chick into the enclosure, the beautiful canary began to sing a song. What a beautiful timbre. Wait, could this be? I would be sure to remember this melody. I thanked the old man and I left Canary Village. After a short while, I found myself standing in front of the town hall building. The place was eerily silent as any haunted house, and I could see an American flag out front, swaying listlessly in the feeble breeze. With things the way they were, I didn't think anyone would have had time to worry about raising or lowering it properly. So I bet that, it had been left to be battered about by the wind both day and night. Not far from the town hall, a Burger King and a McDonald's stood side by side, but I could see no sign of a crowd of the usual crowd of cheerful customers eating contentedly and chatting away inside these windows. I wonder what the Happy Meal toy was at around this time. I think it was August '88, wasn't it? I'm gonna look it up just for kicks. Did Burger King? Toys. Wait, hang on. August 1988. I think I remember these. In August 1988, McDonald's ran a wildly popular promotion featuring a set of 4 collectible Garfield PVC figures driving various vehicles. This release coincided with the debut of the Garfield and Friends television show. No, might not have been. Well, it's July, though. The wiki is confusing looking. I'm too caught up on this right now, sorry. I'm just curious. My nostalgia is burning. I just realized Oliver and Company released that year. The Garfield one was only Erie, Pennsylvania, and Charleston, South Carolina. Something about on-the-go lunchboxes would have been the toys around that time. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I've never actually seen Oliver and Company. I don't know why. Anyway, back to the game. Jeez. Since when did Padunk become such a ghost town? Let's try going... Oh, I've been here already. Oh, okay, I can only go to the graveyard or leave town. I don't know if I want to go to the graveyard yet. Morningside Cemetery. I walked through the archway at the entrance and stepped inside. Scattered here and there throughout the spacious cemetery, I could see several piles of pale gravestones. I could also see countless number of human-sized shadows moving about in the spaces between them. I couldn't help it. I was frightened. Those things weren't human. Those things wandering around in there were corpses that had risen from the grave. An entire swarm of zombies. Like a proper zombie straight out of any horror movie, they were shuffling around amongst the gravestones with their arms dangling limply and swaying to and fro. The whole place gives me the creeps. The thing is, I lost my knife. So... I only got 10 HP left. How do I get money? I know they're telling me I have to get it from fighting, but... Enter the grounds of Morningside Cemetery. Despite a large number of figures shuffling around me, there was complete silence. I couldn't hear a single voice, and the reason for that was pretty unsettling. Everyone was a zombie. Doing my best to avoid the more crowded areas, I made my way deeper into the cemetery and headed for a wooden building leading down into the underground crypts. The door had been left ajar, and from somewhere inside, a slight scent of mold and the odor of death and decay. I slipped through the small gap in the door, walked down a narrow corridor, and eventually came to a set of stone stairs leading underground. At the bottom of these stairs, I found a large underground area. A room surrounded by cold stone walls on all four sides. And like something I might expect to find in the basement of Dracula's castle, there were 3 coffins lined up side by side. Which coffin should you open? I opened the middle one before and it led to death. So I got closest or furthest. Let's do closest. Slowly, I opened the closest coffin to me. Coffin closest to me. Reek! Suddenly, a little girl leapt out and she wrapped her arms around me. Surprised, I looked down at her and... Oh, you're little Pippi, aren't you? And so she was. It was Amir's daughter, Pippi. Wow, I was so scared. There were zombies everywhere, and so I had to hide in that coffin. Wah!
Wah! My name ain't Pippi, it's Waluigi!
While trying to calm the sobbing Pippi, I cautiously led her towards the cemetery gates. However, somehow we made it through without being noticed by the roaming zombies. Then, once we were left the graveyard, I took Pippi by the hand and ran for the mayor's house. Well now, how wonderful of you to rescue my daughter. Is there anything I can do for you in return? The mayor, Mr. Goodman, spoke to me as he sat on his very cozy-looking sofa. I knew exactly what I wanted to ask for. Do you think you can tell the cops here to let me go anywhere I want? Of course, of course! After leaving the mayor's house, I slowly walked down the street for a while. I guess something else must have happened somewhere. 3 patrol cars rushed by with their sirens blaring, and a military helicopter whizzed by overhead. Quick save. Hey, I've been here already. I'm gonna try fighting him. Maybe it's one of those where there's a random chance. Damn it! Okay. Quick save. I'm gonna do the furthest coffin. The thing is, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be a zombie. Very cautiously, I open the lid of the coffin on the far side of the room. Creak! Lying inside was the corpse of a man whose face had mostly fallen away. Half his body had rotted down to the bone. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open, wide open, and whoosh! The corpse sat straight up and reached for me, baring its teeth. I swiftly dodged the man's hands. I pulled out a knife. But would it work on an actual zombie? He continued to come at me with his mouth open and his teeth bared. I raised my knife, but hold on. Knives aren't supposed to work on me against these guys. I thought quickly and tossed the knife aside. As the zombie tried to get up out of its coffin, I kicked it as hard as I could. With a thud, the zombie fell back in the coffin. I closed the lid tightly and secured the latch. I could hear the zombie beating on the inside of the lid for a while, and then the crypt fell silent once more. 2 experience points! The same place seemed to be crawling with zombies. I got out of Morningside Cemetery as fast as I could. There we go. I do kind of like the art. I kind of like the fact you're using screenshots from the game. I'm hoping you give me like $10 for... Well, I got $10. I think you can level grind. I know going for the middle one's gonna kill me, so... I'm gonna see if I can level. I think my next option is I need to leave town. Oh, I said I wanted the bat, didn't I? Okay, I've got 10 experience. I don't know... Also, I have 1 hit point. I have 3 hit points, but I'm still level 1. Oh, I loaded a save, didn't I? Once I get 20 experience, then I'll go to the store and... experience. If I'm getting 2, I need to do 3 more times? It's weird to have a choose-your-own-adventure book that's got... I feel like there's a quicker way of doing this. 1 more. Hey, level 2! Got up to 20. Brain shock. I only have... I need to rest somewhere. Let's go to the shopping center. $18, $28. Okay. Oh, I need $2 more. I think I need this rope, though. Go south. Alright, I walked along the interstate highway until I eventually came to a huge river, the Royal River, to be exact. Spanning across it was a stone bridge known as Miskatonic. That sounds familiar. Beyond the nearby hills, I could see the towering and imposing Mount Toy. Eerie black clouds hung down over its summit. Spanning to Royal River just outside of town was the Miskatonic Bridge. As I approached it, I noticed several cops standing guard, each holding a gun. I hesitated for a moment, not sure just what I should do, but in the end I walked over to them, trying to look as confident as I could. Startled, the cops turned their... Wow. Why? I mean, to be fair, this probably shouldn't surprise me that much. Startled, the cops turned their shotguns on me, but I guess they had gotten word from Mayor Goodman because a moment later they quickly lowered them. Again, you're Douglas Holloway, right? Apparently you're allowed to head through. Thanks! Awful cheerful for having a gun just pointed at me. I grinned as he let me by, and then I headed over the bridge. Where should I go? Let's not go to... Well... Let's head for the mountain, just for kicks. I left Podunk and headed straight for the path leading to Mount Toy. However, the moment I chose this route, I found nothing but trouble. After getting lost and wandering down many confusing pathways, I somehow ended up back at Miskatonic Bridge again. With my shoulders heaving as I panted, I brought my inhaler to my mouth and breathed in soothing mist. Jeez, what a mess. Where to now? I walked on, leaving the Royal River far behind me, and once I finally made it through a small forest of pine trees, I could see a large town up ahead. It was Marysville. My papa and I used to come to the movie theater in this town all the time. I saw Star Wars here, and Indiana Jones, too. I mean, maybe they were replaying Star Wars? No, he might have been old enough, because he's 12. He would have still been pretty young, I think. I don't remember when Star Wars came out, but I thought it was like 70s. I think Return of the Jedi was 83? Of course, maybe he's referring to that Star Wars. I headed into town and found myself in a plaza that had a fountain. From here, I could get a good look at the place. Things were very different compared to Pedunk. Apparently, this town wasn't under martial law, so there were crowds of people bustling all over. On the other side of the plaza, just beyond some war memorial monument, I could see Marysville Junior High School's tall clock tower. Right next to the movie theater was a hotel. On the outskirts of town was Union Station, a stop along Paradise Line. The hotel was 5 stories high. I went in and I could see an old man behind a counter, leaning back in his chair and reading an issue of Life magazine. I'd like to stay the night. He spoke without even looking from his magazine. $30 a night, free breakfast in the morning, and we take payment up front. But unfortunately, I didn't have $30. I was just thinking about what a fix I was in when suddenly an old man looked up at me. If you haven't got any money, you can always put in some work. If you're up for it, you can help clean dishes in the cafeteria downstairs. Yeah, why not? And so I got a part-time job cleaning dishes and used $30 I earned to stay the night at the hotel. But somehow I was still pretty tired. The next morning I had some breakfast and then left the hotel. Guy's kind of sus. Oh, to my right was Maryville School. To my left, I could see Interstate Turnpike. However, there was an electric sign above the road leading south into the mountains, which read, "Danger ahead, entry prohibited." Well, in the game, you meet Lloyd at the school. So, let's head to the school. I headed towards Marysville Junior High School. Entered through the main gate, continued across the schoolyard where several students were playing basketball. Everything seemed so peaceful here. It was like all the strange and awful things that had been going on lately had been nothing but a bad dream. The school was built out of concrete. It was 3 stories tall. Just as I walked inside, the bell rang for recess. Kids came flying out of their classrooms left and right. They all seemed to be so happy and carefree. I felt kind of jealous. I entered one of the classrooms, but since it was recess, nearly all the students were off somewhere else playing. The only ones left were 2 girls, sitting all the way back in the back row and chatting away. One of the girls had a very round face and was wearing glasses. The other girl was covered in freckles and had smooth, silver blonde hair that fell about her shoulders. I was going to say, are these Marcy and Peppermint Patty? Because I know some of the NPCs in Earthbound Beginnings kind of have the Peanuts look to them. I tried to strike up a conversation with the girl wearing glasses, and for a moment she just sat there and stared at me blankly, but shortly after that she smiled at me and said, "Hey, you're Danny." What kind of voice was that? "From Class A, aren't ya?" What kind of voice am I doing? "Have you ever been to the Live House in LA? It's really wild over there." Huh? What do you mean it's wild? I mean, it's just what I said. It's really wild. You should try going there sometime. You'll be really surprised. In the end, I couldn't really follow their conversation, so I left the classroom. Well, that was confusing, I thought to myself as I walked through the hallway. At the end of the hallway, there was a science lab. I went in and found 3 male students sitting on top of the desks. All 3 of them were pretty big, and they were wearing leather jackets, jeans, and chains. Actually, let's see what my status is. I didn't heal my health from that? We're gonna quick save. They also wore rather shifty expressions and looked like kind of delinquents who hung around bars and pool halls in the shadier parts of town. Then one with a blonde crew cut spoke up. Yo, kid. You seen a little brat with glasses around? I mean, that's Sissy Lloyd. If you see him, give him a message for us. We're gonna find him and we're gonna pound him. I nodded and left the science lab. With that, I left Marysfield Junior High School. I'm not done here! When I finally got all the way up to the top, I was pretty out of breath, so I hurriedly put my inhaler to my mouth and breathed in that soothing mist. However, the door to the roof had a note on it, which read, Authorized personnel only. Damn, it was off limits. Guess there wasn't much I could do, so I made my way back down all those stairs. The girl with the silver blonde hair looked up at me and smiled. Hi, I'm Cindy. I haven't seen you around. Are you from Class C next door? I decided to lie and see what she'd tell me. Well then, what do you know a boy named Lloyd? He wears glasses. He's kind of a dork. He borrowed a French book from me and never gave it back. I wonder if he's up on the roof again, where he knows no one's allowed to go. Oh, well, I don't know him. After that, the 2 girls went back to their excited chatter. I didn't know what else to do, so I left the room. Oh, there we go. Is someone there? Then, from the trash can came a voice. Leave me alone! Why the heck are you in the garbage? Because I'm Lloyd Snyder, that's why. Everyone in this whole school picks on me. I wish I had been born just as about anyone else. Hearing this, I couldn't help but feel kind of sorry for him. You should try to have more pride in yourself, Lloyd. The trash can was silent, but eventually Lloyd spoke up again. Do you have pride in yourself? Of course I do. Then show me proof. In the southern part of town, there's a place called Sweet Little's Factory. If you bring me some bottle rockets they make there, then maybe I'll believe in what you say. Alright, you want bottle rockets then? After a pause, the voice in the trash can spoke again. You're really going to go? No one's ever gone there and come back. Don't you know about the weird things that have been going on lately? Yeah, I know a lot about it, actually. Just you wait, Lloyd. Just because I'm definitely coming back. I vowed silently as I made my way back down the stairs. With that, I left Marysville Junior High School. I finally I made it to the town's main road. From there, I could see Union Station wasn't too far away. Hotel's pretty close too. Okay. 4-lane interstate highway was totally deserted. deserted. Not a single car drove past. According to the sign overhead, the road was would split off 2 miles. In 2 miles, the left fork led to Augusta, the state capital, and the one to the right branched and became Jointner Avenue, which continued towards Cumberland and Jerusalem's Lot. Jerusalem's Lot, what a creepy name. I passed under the blinking sign and continued to walk down the silent, vacant roadway. Then suddenly I noticed something sparkle against the clear blue sky up ahead of me. Tried to get a better look, and I could see a flying saucer about the size of a football. It grazed the very tip of the streetlight about 100 yards ahead as it came flying right towards me. Was it another one of Earth's enemies, the ones causing all the mysterious incidents lately? I braced myself for a fight. From the looks of this disc-shaped object, I couldn't imagine this thing was anything other than those flying saucers you hear about that come from outer space. This one seemed to be a miniature model, so I think I'll call it Little Saucer. I also think I should... I got a bat! Why can I not use that? Do I really think I can stand a chance using a knife against such a powerful flying enemy? Then suddenly the little saucer fired some sort of green-colored beam. It hit me dead on, and I didn't even have time to scream as it sent me flying and slammed me into the asphalt. I was careless. I slowly began to lose consciousness, and everything faded to black. Okay. How do I equip? Because I should have a bat, so why am I attacking with a knife? Okay, we're going to do quick save. I think I tried taking the road to the mountain, so we're going to go to the station this time. I walked straight down the town's main road. The street was lined with elm trees on both sides. Eventually, found myself at Union Station. The building was made of red brick. Yeah, it doesn't look red there. Well, I made it to the station, but the place was a bit of a panic. Waiting area was overflowing with would-be passengers who were making a fuss about the fact the train hadn't departed yet. I happened to overhear the station worker's explanation. There had been a landslide on a nearby mountain, which was blocking the tracks ahead. rocks were so large I couldn't budge no matter how many bulldozers and excavators machines they tried to use. Having second thoughts about boarding a train, I decided to leave the station. I am lost. I'm annoyed because I did buy a bat. Okay. I came to a lonely road that cut through the forest. Suddenly, from the leafy branches ahead of me, I heard the sound of flapping wings. Some black thing shot from one side of the road to the other. Huh? I thought, just as I did, a giant bat suddenly swooped down on me from above. It screeched in an eerie voice as it swooped at me. I concentrated my thoughts. I aimed a powerful psychic energy blast right at my opponent's brain. A technique called brain shock. In an instant, the bat was freed from its influence of any dark powers and began to shrink until it was the size of a regular bat again. It flew around my head for a while, as if it was apologizing for its behavior, and then flew off into the night. Well, better head for a dunk then. This was the town where it all began, where the strange incidents took place that kick-started this wild journey. And yet Bedunk was still the most beautiful town in all of Maine. The road split up ahead. Make a visit home. Entered my front yard, and Mick, who had sprawled lazily in front of his doghouse, ran up to me, barking and wagging his tail joyfully. And I guess my sisters, Minnie and Mimi, heard all the racket because they opened the front door and flew outside to greet me. Big brother! Still hugging them tight, I went inside, and there was my mom way before me. Oh, Doug, welcome home. I was happy to be able to see my mama and my sisters again. That night, we had my favorite, hamburgers. I ate myself silly and slept soundly until morning. There's truly no place like home. Well, I can't sit here being sentimental all day. Time to head out. Now, if I try to take on the mountain thing, or the UFO, with full health, is it still going to be an insta-kill? Mr. Batty, you're not where you want to be in life, are you? But it's not too late. Maybe you should reconsider some of your life choices. Then Mr. Batty replied telepathically. You really think so? You may be right. I don't think my life is going the way it should lately. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go back to square one, figure it all this out. And so, with a few loud flaps of his wings, Mr. Batty flew off somewhere deeper into the forest. gonna grind there for a bit. Wait, hang on. Okay, I'm just gonna level grind a bit. Wonder how many experience it takes for me to level. I'm gonna assume I level at 50. There we go, level 3. I only got 35. Yeah, 50 was the next level. I'm gonna buy... I think I want the air gun if I'm gonna have Lloyd on my team. Buy the rope, because I figure I'll need it. Quick save. Okay. Quick save. I am going to try take the road to the mountains. What do I need then? Maybe I need one of the guns. I don't know how to switch my weapon, that's the thing. Oh, that's that. I'm confused. My thing is maybe I need to get one of the guns, but I thought that was a... Let's see. That means I gotta do some serious level grinding. It also could be that maybe this is as far as the demo will take me. Because I'm annoyed because I have the bat. So in theory, I should be able to use that instead of the knife. But I'm gonna call it night. I think I already saved. Yeah, save 2. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a night then, since I'm not sure where I can continue. I'm gonna look up and see if I am at the point of... or I can't get any further. Okay. So anyways, that's all I'm doing for that tonight. I'm gonna load this up so I don't have to squint. Let's see. All right. In the 1980s, a certain haunted arcade game was causing a fever around the world. A major comic book company caught this fever, planning a crossover between one of their superpowered heroes and the game's protagonist. However, plans fell through, with a handful of rough draft pages being all that remains. Name the 2 properties that would have been used in this scrapped project. I probably should say the haunted part is the fact ghosts are involved with the game. So there's a clue. I probably should have mentioned that at the beginning. It's not like something like Polybius, where it's a... I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Polybius? I don't know. Where it's like an urban legend, or it might be literally haunted. It's figuratively haunted because there's ghosts. Supposedly. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna call it here for this. And then let's see. Friday we'll be doing Star Trek Elite Force 2. I've watched a bit of a playthrough for this, but I haven't played it myself. So this will be mostly blind. Fortunately, I don't think it'll get as annoying as Harbinger was. And actually, there are secrets in each level, and I can unlock bonus levels. So, something I might be watching out for. Oh yeah, one of the secrets is a kind of parody of Super Mario Brothers, which makes me reminds me that I was playing the original Super Mario Brothers, kind of just trying to get used to the game, so when I next Mario Day, I can go and play it. But I pulled off the minus world glitch, which wasn't that hard to pull off, but yeah, I think all it is basically you break all but the nearest block to the pipe, you do a crouch jump, and as you reach where the block is, you pull, release the stop crouching, and you press backwards, and you pass through the block. It's not actually that hard. Or at least it didn't seem that hard because it did not take me long to pull it off. I just thought it was kind of cool I finally pulled off that infamous glitch. To be fair, I've never really tried it, so yeah. Anyways, as I said, Elite Force on Friday, more Sonic Battle. Ugh. I don't remember finding that game so frustrating. That's what thing that annoys me. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna level grind or grind a bit in that, or if I'm going to try beating it or getting through it the way it is. I think if I get past this mission, the rest of it, or get past this set of three missions, I'll be able to get through the game a lot easier. But I am not certain. But the biggest thing with Sonic Battle is the fact that it just takes so long for you to get enough points to uh, equip the proper skills. Because I don't even have a all I have most of my skills are but the default ones, which are kind of garbage. So, anyways, as I said, oh yeah, and then next Wednesday, if I see there's still more to this game, I'll be playing it, and if not, I will be doing Mother Encore Act 2. I'm annoyed because I thought my Mother Encore I played earlier, I had him my main character named Ken, but no, it's Nintendo. Oh well. So, anyways, with that said, this has been your captain speaking. You're now free to disembark.